Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. It's a Sunday, so you know exactly what this video is. It is a Soul Sunday, and I have a guest with me today.
Yeah.
My baby cousin, or not so baby anymore, Cinke.
Yeah.
And it's continuing the series on unlearning, things we've had to unlearn in this day and age, which I think is a very interesting conversation because there is a lot to unlearn before you relearn, right?
Yeah.
So I wanted to hear the male perspective, especially from a young male guy in the 2018, oh my gosh, 2019. Oh, I meant to say the 21st century, but like 2019.
Okay.
And things like you've had to unlearn, especially like with toxic masculinity and fragile masculinity as well. We can talk about that one because it's fragile sometimes. And yeah, so just give us insights.
Alright, I guess the first thing we can start with is toxic masculinity. So one thing that kind of came up really big as I was growing up, especially in high school, for a lot of guys, I'm sure they can relate, is the competition with other guys. And competition is good depending on the environment and what you're competing on. But one of the big things I remember for me was getting girls. You know what I mean? But getting girls not on a deep level. You know what I mean? Like superficially getting with girls and things like those. It was
like
almost
they're like trophies.
Exactly.
Like
Yeah. It was almost like that validated you as a growing male. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like your ability to kind of like impress a girl or have all these names under your list, you know what I mean, was a big thing. And I remember like in the beginning stages, I remember thinking like, no, that's dumb, you know, that's stupid. But then gradually like these things chip away at you.
Peer pressure.
You know what I mean? Yeah, it is peer pressure, and it's also like, it's like, even if you keep telling yourself like, no, this, like, I know this is stupid.
Yeah.
It kind of chips away when it's a constant thing. You know what I mean?
How about, because obviously if you're having a lot of girls as trophies, you're hurting one or the other.
Oh yeah.
Would that ever affect you, or is it like, because it seemed like with guys, especially in high school, it's like, yeah, and I hurt her as well. Fine, right? Am I the one who felt like it was like a brownie point if she was hurt as well?
I don't know. I think where that comes from mostly. I didn't really get that, but I think where that comes from is if she's hurt, that means that you were just as good at
making her
impressing her, or like exactly, you know what I mean? I think that's the underlying thing about it. I don't think it's on the surface level it's like, okay, I hurt this girl, perfect, you know what I mean?
Okay.
It's more like it means that I was able
to like me.
Exactly. It was like I did a good job, which is messed up. You know? It was tough. It's also tough to kind of get out of it. So I took a gap year before uni. That means that the people I'm in uni with now are a year younger than me, and so like I can see the things that they're going through as the things that I went through a year earlier. You know what I mean? And so even though like I've grown, I've matured, and I have the kind of knowledge and the experience of like hurting somebody and being in a position of like thinking that kind of mentality was the right way to go, you know? Obviously now I know that that's one of the things I let go, you know what I mean?
Unlearn, yeah.
It's just that it's toxic is like the best way to describe it. But yeah, that's the first thing that comes.
How about like, because I remember having a conversation with a guy and I was just like, what? You're really missing out on life. So we're talking about alcohol, drinks. I think we were talking about drinks that we like to order, and I said a mojito, and then he said, me personally, I can't have a cocktail. I'm like, why? Because I have to have a man drink. I'm like, what's a man drink? And he's like, it was whiskey. Like it had to be
whiskey without ice, like clean.
And I'm like, who said that's feminine?
Yeah.
Those kind of things. Or he can't hold a purse. Why not?
Yeah.
Why can't you hold your girlfriend's purse and stuff like that?
That's true. That's also one of the things I'm trying to like unlearn. But I feel like it's even more tough than the whole thing about getting girls.
How come?
It's because it's so much a societal pressure. You know what I mean? Because there's like there's an idea of what men should be. You get what I mean? And that can kind of be like changed at some points. And I was having a conversation actually about how that kind of affects, especially I guess I go to university in Canada, but in Canada there's a lot of like the LGBTQ community is very active there, and a lot of what they talk about is people who change their genders is that the roles that society kind of gave them or they were pushed towards define that kind of depression that they went through when they want to kind of change their gender, you know? It's because at an early stage, a guy would want to, I don't know, do certain things.
Play with a toy car.
Exactly, right? Or yeah, play with a toy car, or maybe he wants to play with dolls.
Oh yeah.
Right? Like I'm guilty of this because I remember my brother, my younger brother used to play with figurines till he was quite, I don't know, how old was he? I don't know if he was like 8 or something.
Yeah.
What if Kiba comes and sees this? I'm sorry, but
Kiba, it's all that.
I used to ridicule him for that because I remember like that was also in my mind like, hey, there's a certain point you have to start playing with more manly toys. You know what I mean? You have to start doing more manly things and you grow up. You know what I mean? I know. He took a lot of my nonsense. But yeah, like I feel like, and what I discussed with like my friend in Canada is that once you define kind of what it is to be a man in such a in such a narrow box, then it leads people to being like they can't act. You know what I mean? So that's how you find fake guys or fake like men in relationships. You know what I mean?
Wait, what do you mean by that?
So it's like let's say if they can't fully act themselves, so they act the way they know.
Or what society would accept.
Exactly.
Okay,
would
say
right. So for example, like you might get into a relationship with a guy or meet a guy who's like, nah, I don't have any emotions. Like I haven't cried since I was 3 years old. You know what I mean?
Which is another thing we have to talk about. But yeah, carry on.
But yeah, it's like things like those, and that's what I think for girls to understand, since you want a male perspective. Is that beneath all of these things, there's a lot going on. You know what I mean? There's a lot that's kind of built a man to be the way he is now. So I get that like a lot of men can be trash. You know what I mean? We all.
His words, not mine. But that's all it is.
It's okay. We all knew we were going there. It's all good. It's fine. But a lot of what has to be understood is that it comes from somewhere. You know what I mean? Nobody's born.
It's an underlying. There's something.
Exactly.
It stems from somewhere.
Exactly. And a lot of times when you see somebody really messed up, you're looking at an insecure person or an insecure man in their masculinity. You know what I mean?
Did you take psychology? Because that's how I psychoanalyze people.
Really?
Yeah, because in my psychology, I'm just like, he's definitely going through something. But
exactly.
Sorry.
Yeah. It's the same thing like with bullies and everything.
Yeah.
It should be seen the same way.
Yeah.
Is that there's always something underneath that's causing this kind of behavior.
Which shouldn't be an excuse, but it's I guess for you to kind of be like, okay, I get he's going through issues. It's just
like man, I remember this quote once. It's like, if you're ever going through something with a guy who's kind of like toxic in that way, the best thing you can do, like there's a quote, I can't remember who said it, but the worst thing you can do for the devil is pray for him. Do you get what I mean?
Because then he'll be fixed.
Exactly, right? So you pray.
Yeah.
That's the worst thing you could do. Instead of hating, because the devil is hate.
Yeah.
You get what I mean? The best thing that you can do is to pray for him. You know what I mean? And so when you're in a toxic relationship with someone, and if you have the understanding that this person has gone through this, or you might not even know, but you just have, like, this is coming from somewhere, then you just wish the best for them. Like, you can distance yourself.
And since we're talking about unlearning, that's something I had to unlearn. I don't necessarily have to take. Someone's here. I don't necessarily have to take someone's BS. I can remove myself from the situation, but hope for the best for them and kind of pray for them from afar. It's like you're toxic, and I recognize it, and I don't want that in my space, but I'm gonna pray for you. And everything.
Exactly. Like you don't have to remain in a relationship or in some kind of interaction with somebody just because you get that they're hurting on the inside. You know what I mean? You can be supportive from a distance.
Yeah. Okay, so I was asking, because I have so many questions for Cinke, just to get an insight into a guy's mind. Do you, with your guy friends, have a space where you can cry and talk about your feelings without feeling like it's weird?
Mm-hmm.
1. 2, do you ever hold each other accountable for any toxic traits or any like, let's say your friend is like, yeah, you know, I beat up my girlfriend because she just chats a lot of whatever all of the time. Like, do you hold each other accountable, or you, because I remember having conversations with guys and they were telling certain guys, okay, a guy, group of guys, and they were like, he hits her, that's not my problem. And I was like, what do you mean? You know, like, do you have people who hold you accountable? And what is it like being a boy child in this day and age? Because I feel like girl children, the girl child is really empowered, and the male child, the boy child, really has kind of been neglected in terms of support and nurturing. That's my take on it. So when you meet a girl child and a boy child, the boy child becomes insecure because this one girl knows her power and all her.
So in terms of having the first question, out of the 20, no, but in terms of having a support structure, for sure. I have like my closest group of friends. What we did last summer, and like we keep kind of doing, is like asking each other, how is it going for you? You know what I mean? So it's there's one time we sit down like at a restaurant, the 4 of us, and we're just like, okay, so what's going on with you guys? Because like you can always like text somebody and be like, how are you doing? They're always gonna be like, fine, I'm doing good, I'm doing okay. You know what I mean? But really getting to like, you know, like, and making sure it has to be your responsibility though. That's the thing that like I kind of had to understand, is that it's if you want that kind of relationship with your guy friends, then you need to establish that. It can't just come out of nowhere. Like guys, like in today's day and age, a majority of guys understand that like, look, we have emotions, right? But the problem with the barrier between displaying those emotions and getting them out there, or like moving past that toxic masculinity, is actually setting up a kind of support group. Not like with your friends, you know? That's the first thing that kind of you kind of assume that, look, I can always talk with these people and they should be open with me because I've been friends with them for like 7 years, 6 years, you know what I mean? So yeah, it's your responsibility to do that, and it's also good not only for guys as well, but for girls. It's good if you say, or if you ask your friends, who am I to you? You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like who when you think of Cinke, when you get a call from me, or when you get a message and you haven't read the message or you haven't picked up the call, what are you thinking? Like, who am I to you in that way? That helps you become more supportive as a friend, especially for guys, for your guy friends. Yeah. Right? But yeah, it's very tough. It's tough to open up as a guy, especially if your whole life you've kind of been under that whole guise of a man is supposed to act this way. You're supposed to do what you have to do, no complaints.
So that's something you've had to unlearn then?
Yeah, I'm still unlearning it. That's it. Like, it takes a long time.
But it makes me so happy, even as your older cousin, knowing that you have such a group of people, because it's a serious issue right now, where people feel like they don't, especially guys, feel like they don't really have people to talk to. Yeah. So it's so nice to hear that people your age are doing that these days. Yeah. Oh, that's so nice. Yeah, I think it's very important, like with your guy friends especially, because even if you're in a relationship with your girl, right, and you open up to her and everything like that, like that's good. It's good. It's still opening up, but the only way you'll be able to get somebody who can really relate with what you're going through as a guy is when you're talking to your friends, right? And I think a big thing about, maybe, like, I'm sure it's all over the world, but especially in Kenya, guy friends, it's like there's a lot of like let's go out, you know, like let's drink, exactly. And then drinking, what we don't realize is that when you're trying to go out with your boys, if you think about when you're actually trying to go out with your boys and drink, and you don't have the aim of getting a girl, right? And you're just having the aim of having fun. The reason a lot of times, or I guess in my own experience, maybe you can relate, is a lot of times the reason I'm going to drink is so I can have a good time. And I know having a good time means that
the alcohol kind of like loosens your tongue about what you're going through. You get what I mean? Like you're able to fully experience having a good night with your friends because you don't have to think about all the
issues. So it's kind of like an escape.
It is, and that's kind of, it can lead to alcoholism.
Which it's so true. It's that's so true.
Yeah.
So you don't want to deal with stuff, so you just use an escape.
Exactly.
A lot of people use sex as an escape. A lot of people use alcohol.
Cigarettes,
a lot of people use drugs.
Yeah. So
that's so nice to hear that you do that. I hope this video inspires others. If you haven't started, consider creating that kind of safe space with your guy friends and all. Yeah.
I mean, it could be over coffee or something, or if it's over a beer, you know. Just like one, like it's something that you can do anywhere. As long as you're in contact with your guy friends and you have those guys who like I can open up to, but you have to make that step. You know what I mean? You can't expect the other person to fully understand what you're saying when you say, "Look, I just want to talk to you." You know what I mean? You have to kind of go into it with the mindset of. This is also a guy who's gone through the same things of guys can't talk about this stuff or this stuff or this stuff. You know what I mean? So to really open yourself up to other people kind of lets them open up to you as well. You know what I mean? You have to show that vulnerability before you can accept or you can have other people be vulnerable to you. So like be patient. Like that's another thing. Being patient with your friends and stuff like that.
That's so nice. I'm so proud of you. So proud of it, you guys. How about, and now these are the questions I was asking earlier. Holding your friends, your guy friends accountable for their toxic tendencies or their toxic traits. Do people do that, or is there a tendency to just kind of be like, oh okay, let's just pretend he never said that.
I mean, that's another thing that has to kind of come from that kind of like building up the relationship, you know. It's like it's I mean, from a guy's perspective, I've had times where I've messed up, you know what I mean, and my guy friends haven't stood in the way and been like, what are you doing, you know what I mean.
So you kind of, there's a tendency to enable.
It's enabling. It's like I don't want to, it could be a number of things, like I don't want to lose my friend if I try and get in between this, you know what I mean. Or it could be like these aren't excuses as to why.
It's how you rationalize. It's fine.
Exactly. Right?
That's why again, it's an insight.
It's like it could be that, or it's like, okay, this is too, like it goes back to the emotion thing. Like this is too much vulnerability to like if your friend is doing something and then he's vulnerable to your criticism, right? And you don't want that vulnerability to cost you the friendship or to I don't know, get in between what you guys have. You know what I mean?
So you're kind of scared of calling each other out in case that would be the end of your friendship.
Yeah. I mean, it's dumb though. It's not a good excuse.
It is dumb.
And for sure. Right? So that's another, like, it has to become a practice, and you have to make it a practice. That you just keep calling your friends out. Like,
so do you guys do it, you and your friends?
Yeah, we did. Okay. We did,
That's good.
Yeah. Like in uni especially, like I have friends who have done drugs, right? Like pretty hard drugs, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like one thing I always remember is like one of my friends was about to try it, and then another, like I wasn't there at the time, but I heard about it, and another one of my friends was like, no, don't be stupid, you know what I mean? And it can happen with everything. It could happen like if you have a friend who has a girlfriend, and you can see your friend is like sizing up to this girl. It can be that it's like, don't be stupid, you're gonna regret this. Like you know what you have is special. You don't want to mess that up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's things like those, and I've had friends. I'm so glad that I've had friends who've done that for me as well. You know.
Okay. Yeah. How about how you view a woman? How you view women? Is there anything you've had to unlearn, or anything you've had to? Yeah. And you can think about it for a second.
Yeah, I might need a second. I don't know. I mean, majority of my family, like my like, what do you call it? Nuclear family.
Yeah.
My nuclear family is majority female. So I mean, my dad and mom split up like when I was 11. So my dad kind of moved away. So I was raised mostly by my mom and my two sisters. and my older brother, but he moved out really early. So from that, I kind of got this idea of what women should be. You know what I mean?
Which is what?
Which is like you have to be mature. There's like a certain level of like responsibility that you have to carry like yourself with. You know what I mean?
You, the man.
No, the girl.
Oh, okay, the woman.
The girl. Yeah. So, and I remember I went to Hillcrest, the British System School, when I was pretty young, right? And this was when I started to have like thoughts about girls. You know what I mean? This is when I like my stuff started to happen, right? And I don't know, it was different. And then I went to another school, Brayside, and like the girls were acting very differently. You know what I mean? Like they were more, they were more loud. They were more like rowdy, and there was much more of like a sex drive for girls. You know what I mean?
Okay, because you were older when you went to Brayside. That's
Yeah, I was older. Yeah,
so,
oh, sorry. Yeah.
So when you were in Hillcrest, you were young.
I was young.
So
Yeah.
So
yeah.
when you were Brayside, it was when it was the teenage kind of years.
Exactly.
So
yeah.
hormones and everything.
Yeah,
Okay, got
yeah.
it.
So I never really understood that as much. Like I remember being like, I didn't really understand like the girl sex drive. You know what I mean? And that's like it's stupid to say it, you know. Like,
no, it's fine.
Yeah, but I couldn't really get that. And I remember always thinking like when I would see like a girl do something that a guy like I would expect a guy to do.
For example. Play football.
No. I'm talking about like in terms of like in relation to like other like the guys. You know what I mean? Like in terms of like sexual. Yeah.
Tina's in the background.
Yeah. she's my translator.
Wait,
But,
I'm trying to understand what you mean.
So I mean,
when you saw a girl doing what a guy should do.
No, not like when it comes to like physical sports or like I'm talking about like when
a girl moved to a guy.
Exactly.
Or like move to mandem. Okay.
Exactly.
So you growing up with women, you saw.
I saw the fact that like I was always told like the one has to make the first move.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you have
the
to,
traditional way.
Exactly. You're the one who has to put yourself out there. And I think I mean today's day and age, like women are shooting their shots
all the time.
all the time, and it's glorious. You know what I mean?
Is it?
It's glorious. Yeah. It's because it's like. By the way, to the women watching, like women shooting their shots is so attractive.
What?
Trust.
Do you want me to give you a
Sure. Okay, calm down. Calm down.
Got you.
No, but it's like that kind of self-confidence. You know what I mean? Like it's going against what you might have heard as a traditional setting. You know what I mean?
So you
and
had to
it's
unlearn
very I've had to unlearn the fact that like
it's okay if a girl moves to you.
Exactly.
She's not wearing the pants.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
And it's also being like comfortable in my position as a man, even if a girl moves towards me. You know what I mean?
Ah, that is so important.
You get that? Yeah. So if like a girl moves towards a guy, like there are a lot of things that he thinks about in that moment, right? But I've had to kind of unlearn the kind of like okay, what does this mean? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's like
yeah.
it's like
it doesn't
you
shake
back
your
off a bit.
masculinity.
Yeah, it doesn't shake my masculinity. It becomes such a damn. Okay.
Damn. Okay.
Damn.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's things like those. Like I never really. That's the other thing. Growing up with women who raised me, like I never really had like this kind of view of women as like they should only be doing this or this thing. Like my
She
mom.
don't be in the kitchen.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like my mom does the hardest work. Like she works the hardest out of like anyone I
She's
know.
amazing.
Right? And like she's my inspiration for work when it comes to managing a family, anything it is. You know what I mean? So even like things that would be considered masculine tendencies, like I would pick up from my mom. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that kind of drive to drive to keep your kids in school, make sure they go to good unis, like put food on the table, all those things. You know what I mean? So I never kind of grew up with the idea that women should stick to a certain thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm grateful for that.
Aww.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I haven't had to unlearn that, but it's like it's been a bit of a.
So it's been interesting for you living with women, basically.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, cause How about? Have you ever seen how your friends who may not have that kind of family dynamic, how they end up viewing women?
Yeah. Like a lot of times it could be, I don't know, like at an inferior role, like they play an inferior role, like it should always be me who goes after the girl, and when a girl comes after me, it's like, what the hell? You know what I mean? Yeah, it's too much. And yeah, like it kind of plays on their masculinity so much when they have this idea of women and what women should be doing. You know what I mean? Because then it says, okay, so men should be doing this and only this, and they should always be the decision makers in this kind of situation and stuff like that.
Last question I wanted to ask you, and you touched on it a little at the beginning, is what have you had to unlearn when it comes to the LGBT community as a heterosexual male?
So for me personally, I guess it's more to do with not the whole community, but mostly to do with gay guys.
Yeah, specifically because.
Yeah, that's weird, man. In the shower today, like I remember thinking, like one of my earliest memories is like with these guys. I can't remember, like during my school, and I was really really young, and they said, one of them came up to me. He was like 1 year older than me. He asked me, "Are you gay?" Right? Like just to like kind of like so you know, to open up the door for like an insult.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I remember like the way he asked it immediately started up my whole kind of idea of what gay actions are and gay means. Yeah. So it's like from the tone I knew, I was like, no, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like from that point on, I kind of had this kind of like
you attached it to being
exactly. And it's all from like what we've been talking about, like masculinity, being comfortable in your own masculinity.
Yeah.
Because like a lot of things, like comedians make jokes about it. You'll always hear a guy say,
"You who thinks everything in the world is gay, nigga, you gay."
Right? It's like that's some gay shit. But like there's a lot of things that guys simply can't do with each other without it being considered gay.
Like
you know what
hugging.
I mean? Yeah, like hugging, like
holding hands.
Exactly, holding hands. Like anything that you guys can see that you do with a girl.
Affection.
Yeah, anything exactly. Anything that's to do with affection, and it could be the dumbest things. Like if you like the way you sit. You know what I mean? Like the way you sit.
Yeah, like if you cross your legs as a guy.
Exactly. Like there has to be a way you cross your legs. I remember I had to learn that the hard way, and like. It can be so like such little things during your whole day that you're just like, okay, I have to do this, so I'm not considered this kind of thing. You know what I mean? But yeah, in terms of the topic of unlearning, I've had to unlearn, especially now being in Canada. There's a very big gay community, which I'm sure there is in Kenya, but they're just a lot more vocal.
Yeah,
and they have the
because
platform.
they have the space.
Exactly, they have the platform.
Kenya,
it's still
tough.
Yeah. But one of the things you learn is like it's just their people, you know what I mean? And it's like attributing gay became negative, you know what I mean? And so unlearning that the fact that it's not negative, it just is another way of how people live, you know what I mean? And yeah, it's like it's tough because you have to, if you like getting away from that whole idea of like, oh, that shit's gay, has to come in the beginning from like security in your own masculinity.
Yeah. A lot of everything you've talked about today stems from you being very, very secure in your masculinity.
Yeah. Like it's I think it's probably one of the number one problems that guys are facing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I feel like it's a lot of the reasons why guys, when they enter periods of depression, is so heavy. You know what I mean? Because it's almost like you can't talk about it. You don't even want to think about it because thinking about it is expressing your emotions
and it's
to yourself.
A lot of guys.
It is number one. I think the number one cause of death for males, I think under 40, was like suicide or something like that. You know what I mean?
It's because they don't have space to talk.
Exactly. That's the only reason. And so that's the first thing that has to be done is opening up yourself to vulnerability and staying in your. You can still be comfortable in your masculinity by doing things that are considered feminine, even though they're not. You know, people can have, girls can have. You see that one of the things that people don't understand is that there are masculine and feminine traits, which aren't to do with your gender. If that makes sense, right? Yeah. So I remember I saw somebody talking about it, but like the idea of like creativity and stuff like that is considered a feminine trait. But a lot of guys can be creative. Yeah. You know what I mean? Or like stuff to do with like focusing and like you've probably seen like the comedy whatever where it's like guys put things into a box and the boxes don't touch each other. Like if you need something from that box, you go, you pick that box. You know what I mean? You've probably seen it. But
no, I haven't.
You haven't seen it? I'll show you. I'll show you. And for women, it's all like connected. Like things are connected. That's why like you're able to connect so many different scenarios.
Actually, no, I remember reading, and that's a topic that I found very interesting that I would want to delve into one day again. That each of us, like a female, I as a female, I have a masculine and a feminine side.
Yeah.
And depending on which side I tap into, I come off a different kind of way. And I think it's the same with guys. Everyone has that energy, that tendency.
Exactly, and it's like getting comfortable with that is that like you have feminine kind of that feminine side. You know what I mean? Is because like I feel like girls are it's a lot easier for a girl to like tap into that masculine side. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we have
than
the
for
space.
a guy, exactly, because you have the space to do
Yeah.
it. Than for a guy to tap into the feminine side. And it's always like I think it's such a societal misunderstanding that the feminine side takes away from your masculine side. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah,
it just
doesn't take.
Exactly. It's just part of you that if you run away from, will keep coming back.
I remember this was one of the first few times I was confronted with it. I remember a guy I was talking to at the time. It was a really long time ago, and he had Rexona women deal, and he'd do his nails a lot. I just kept thinking.
Yeah.
But now looking back, it's like, what was really the
like
big
he
deal?
takes care of himself.
I think it's and I remember having a discussion with my sister's boyfriend, and he was telling me how he puts on face masks and gets his nails done, and I'm like, that's actually not a bad. Like it's not. It's so nice to see someone that secure in themselves that they can do those kind of things. Because now your skin is suffering, and because you don't want to put on a face mask because it's too feminine.
Exactly. Like
Do you
it's
do
like
face masks?
Nah, I drink a lot of water.
But your skin is nice though.
It's because of water. Yo, drink water. That's the number one thing that will keep your face dope is you drink water. But yeah, it's like. Yeah.
So there's a lot of unlearning I've also had to do when it comes to the masculine thing. So
I think
I take accountability for that kind of stuff.
Yeah. It's not just a male thing. Like women also have to understand that like there can be those times.
Yeah.
Those kind of things.
Like what's wrong with a guy getting a pedicure? At least he likes his face to look nice.
Exactly. Like a lot of times you see like guys who take care of themselves. You see, it's part of the. You know what I mean?
Guys who take care of themselves are always deemed gay.
Exactly. That's the thing. They are more attractive. That's the thing. You see what I mean?
Wow.
Like trust, if like putting on cologne, like making sure that you're clean. You know what I mean?
Tina's in the back wailing like
she's throwing up gang signs like. But yeah, it's like taking care of yourself, and it sucks that there might be like a point, there might be like a barrier for guys taking care of themselves to the point where like you'll take care of yourself only up to this point, and then anything else might be more feminine. You know what I mean? And yeah, like you see those guys who take care of themselves are the guys who they have their shit together because they know that they're secure in their masculinity enough not to be able to like worry about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
They can focus on so many other things. It's so liberating when you know that you're like.
I think I'm very lucky in that sense because my dad is like that. He's so secure in his masculinity. Anything he does, it's like so. So I think being raised by someone like that has been really nice because you're not seeing him think, I have to sit like this, I have to drink this drink. He just doesn't care. He's just like.
Yeah, and it's those people like your dad especially. Like anytime we're in a room with him, like he just has that swag. You know what I mean?
He just doesn't care.
He just doesn't care. Exactly. It's just like, and it's always those people because like those people who are comfortable, you'll notice it. Like you'll notice immediately when a guy is comfortable with himself and his masculinity.
Yeah.
And you can also notice when a guy isn't.
It's not.
You know what I mean? But yeah, like it's like. It's something that if you learn to do, and I'm also unlearning, like I'm learning about it as well. Like it's a continuous process.
Yeah.
But like when you start to do it, it's like a lot of shit just like leaves your mind. You're able to do so much more.
Less of a weight.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You can do like guys like having like a garden. You know what I mean? Like that kind of thing.
Exactly.
That's creation. Like you're maintaining this thing and everything. You bring people over to your house and it's like. Damn, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
This man has his shit together.
Yeah.
just that kind of comfortability. Yeah.
Wow, this has been such an insightful. It has been such a nice conversation. I'm so happy I got to do this with you before I go back.
Thanks, thank you.
Maybe we can have a part 2 one day.
Yeah.
In the future.
When I'm older, the beard's
When his beard comes through.
it's
older. Yeah, but thank you so much for helping us kind of
yeah.
understand what it's like and things you had to unlearn.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really proud of you.
Okay.
I'm really proud of you. And until next time, guys. Until the next Sunday, I will see you later.
Yeah.
Stay blessed. Stay secure.
Yeah. Oh, same time.
We've really been in
Yeah,
today.
like,
we just,
yo.
We're changing the outfits, but we also did like a makeup one, which is probably gonna be on here. If it's not yet, it's coming soon. But yeah, until then, stay secure in yourself.
Yeah.
Guys, talk to people. Please have conversations about your feelings and everything. And I hope this video was insightful for you. And if you did like it, please thumbs up. If you have any comments, any thoughts you'd like to share with us, we would love to read them down below. I'll put his Snapchat in the description box. And until next time, guys, I will see you later. Bye!